seconds to say that because that would have been the first thing I heard on the pre-stream.
Ah, oh well. Pre-stream is a pre-stream.
Yeah, make sure we got our audio correct. Well, mine
Here's
looks
hoping.
okay. Yours looks okay, so I think we're good.
Hey,
Oh, Jesus. That is stronger than I thought it was. So I bought a meal deal on my way home from work, right?
yeah.
This pre-stream #pre-stream stories, and with that I got like a bottle of Pepsi Max. And I thought, well, I'll stick it in the fridge. I'll use it for a stream later. So
Fair enough.
I drink from the top to the top of the label, right, and then I topped it up with adult juice. And apparently that is too much.
Oh dear.
Either that or it just didn't mix well. And I don't particularly want to shake it up.
Right, well, we're gonna go two ways here. It's gonna be a very poor night for David in terms of the drinks redemptions, or you're gonna get drunk very, very quickly.
Mm. Honestly, my throat needs it. It's unfortunate, it's just not honey. Oh, fucking hell. Yeah, that'll definitely keep me going. And we are going into the session now. And
Well, hey.
oh, look. Niggle Piggle has redeemed a drink. Fuck you, Pickle.
How nice.
Oh dear, let's get that intermission screen up. I think I changed it back to Sod Off Piggle. There you go.
Well, hey.
Literally before anything was said in the chat, it was Nigel Piggle redeemed drink. Nigel Piggle redeemed CoCom's drink.
Well, unlike you, I'm going for a water this evening, so good luck.
Yeah, there's got to be some ounce of professionalism. And it sure as hell ain't coming from me. Ah, well, ooh, okay.
Looking a little bit dark.
Yeah, I was going to go with the intro, but yeah, that is it is very dark. I wouldn't be surprised to see a few drivers jump out pretty early, possibly, if we're on the brink of some rain. But anyway, we should tell everyone who we are and what we're doing here. So
Yeah, I think that'd be wiser.
yeah. Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Fair Play Racing League, and you join us tonight for our Tier 2 race around the circuit Paul Ricard in France, where it is an overcast start to Q1, as we've got drivers out on the track. I am your host on a Friday night in the reversed fixture of our Tier 1 race last night. Your host, David Lolface, and joining me on comms is...
Cruiser 1872. As David said, we're switching the rules around from our Tier 1 race. Obviously because David forgot he was told comms yesterday and forgot to invite our drivers for post-race interviews, so it seems like he's more in his natural habitat this evening.
But I did at least get the race director. So I did remember that at least. And
You know, you don't half a point.
yeah, it didn't really count for much, but... Although, at the start of the season, I'd have been glad for points anywhere. So, even in the comms box. And a couple of people in the chat already. Crossgree is calling for a Borley win. Easy. Well, if Crossgree wasn't such a fraud and was racing himself, he'd have had a decent chance. But yes, he thinks Borley for the win. Also, got Piggle up the Piggle. And ooh, we've got Shadows, who's talking about his favourite comparing once again. That's 2 nights in a row. It's a blessing for the man. And I tell you what, usually flattery gets you nowhere, but it absolutely gets you everywhere in my books. I think our first man on the track, Mr. Pickle, did invalidate early on, so let's jump to Phenom. It's not Phenom, it's Paulie. Crossgrease tip for pole. And yeah, also Button in the chat, up the Team Fish face. We're cheering on Eagle tonight, of course. In the AlphaTauri tonight is Eagle. And we've got sorry, I can't read that. Cheering on our very own Stiffmeister. Or Stiffminster. One of the two. So back in France then, it's a track that divides opinion among drivers. As we're watching Bally come onto the start-finish straight. I'm sure I must have asked you at some point last night, Cruiser, but I'll ask you again. What's your opinions on Paul Ricard? I know there's a lot of people that jeer every year it gets renewed.
I don't mind it in terms of like racing. In the game, I don't mind it. It's a fun track. It's a very difficult track to get right though, as we found out as well from the Tier 1 race, quite a few invalidations, and also in the Tier 3 race, a few invalidations as well. In qualifying, Tier 2 picking up the baton from there. But it's a track I don't mind. It's just a track that I don't get excited for whenever we go racing. But it could drop a surprise tonight for the Tier 2 race.
Yeah, as always, Tier 2 often heralded as the closest of the tiers, and I hasten to agree with that. At times it has been blisteringly close at the front of Tier 2. As I scroll through, seeing who's on a lap, looks like we've got Shadow, who's invalidated.
And we got Nigel, who's been spun round the exit of turn 12. Oh, he nearly hit his teammate there.
Oh dear, it wouldn't be the first time Nigel would have come together with his teammate since rejoining the full-time roster. But yeah, good job. Got out of the way, as they're both taking the same, well, I would say rallycross, but I mean, it's just it's a lot of runoff area in here in Paul Ricard, which I assume is probably why most people have an issue with it. But, you know, there's no walls to hit, and unless you know you unless an AI comes out on track after retiring and you're unable to provide the skill to avoid it. Naming no names.
And also, I would like to throw in as well, if your car randomly flips upside down and finds itself in the wall as well. Oh, thank you, Codemasters.
Yeah. I might be able to show that to you on the stream later on.
We get our own little petition going to Codemasters. Get your things in order.
Yes, that's very very professionally put. I wouldn't say it in so many words. As we've got midfield in the chat. Midfield's shouting for a groundsy win. Of course, at the moment the both Alpine guys, second and third. So it's been a good start to Q1 for these guys. As CTX has binned it.
Ooh.
What's happened there?
Here. But yeah, anyone that's close. I don't know what's
Looks like
happened to
he's in the
CTX.
pits. Oh, good. Nice to see that my... yes, I'm having some visual issues on my Xbox. Some of you eagle-eyed guys might be able to see a few flickers in the bottom right of the screen.
Oh, lovely.
At least, having seen it now, I can tell you that it is the Xbox and not my TV, which is good, I suppose. I mean, the TV costs more than the Xbox, so I guess it is a good thing.
It's the lesser of two evils.
Yeah, and actually, to be honest, I've only ever seen it on this. I can't change. Yeah. I never saw it since I changed my graphics mode to performance over whatever the other setting is. I can't remember. But yeah, since I changed that, it's been occasionally doing that. But that's enough about my Xbox woes. As we're going to hop on board with Snedden, who's on a hot lap. He's just coming up towards the end of Sector 2 and puts in a 50.8, which is not too shabby indeed. Bally at the moment on top with the 131.4. I'm sure we'll see the times fall a little bit more from there as we get the follow in from Barry. Thank you very much for your follow. Much appreciated. Snedden now coming around the last corner. 8.5 minutes left in Q1. Looking to go top. And he can't quite do it. He's about just 8 hundredths off. Which, I mean, when you think about it, is not that much at all.
Definitely not. We're seeing the top four separated by around a tenth and a half, and that midfield as well, from Stwid downwards towards Junivane, relatively tight as well, as we've got more leader, who's just set a 132.0, so he gets himself involved in that midfield fight, and I believe this is actually the first outing for the reserve McLaren driver.
Yeah, absolutely. So a big welcome to the league for more leader. I'll probably shorten that to leader, maybe. As he's getting
I think that might be
out of the way.
Oh, Nigel.
Yeah, good lap there from Nigel. About 14 thousandths of a second faster than Bally. I'm sure Croskery would be very disappointed with that. Apparently Ashdown has changed his setup at the last minute and he's made it awful. Well, have I got news for you, Ashdown? Because today is your lucky day. Because Park Ferme is broken. So if you're lucky, you might even be able to change your setup. But you didn't hear it from me. Shh, shh.
We just keep that as a little PayPal engagement afterwards.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
times goes
absolutely.
fastest.
Yeah, time's beginning to drop now. Pines finds his way into the 131.3s. And similarly, Phenom, not quite in the 3s, but doing pretty well, getting himself up into P2 with his last lap. So, still not quite sure what happened to CTX. So, I might take a quick peek in the Discord and see. But we'll also talk about another guy. This is his first outing. He's yet to put a time on the board. I'm not sure if he's come out of the pit or not. But yeah, Legends tonight in the Haas. Big welcome to him as well. So just going to look a little bit up and down the grid, see who's where, who's a bit out of position. You see Junu Vane is currently done 3 laps on his current set of softs, and I'll tell you for free now, that is not going to be a very nice set of tyres to do a lap on, so I think he's going to have to use a second set if he is to go again. More Leader came over the line there. It looks like he was marginally slower, so that very well could be down to a poor exit of the last corner. It wouldn't be the first time we saw that. At the moment in the drop zone then is Valente and Legends, who is now coming out onto the track, and now CTX of course already out. Was he serving a quali ban? It's possible he's serving a quali ban.
I'll find out for you. Just bear with me for a second. I'll have a quick check in the Discord to see what happened with CTX. If he was carrying that quali ban, but he's got Legends heading around the final corner now, and he's looking to maybe getting towards the mid 131s, and that should hopefully see him through into Q2. But he's not going to improve too much on this lap, so I think this will be his first series. Actually, tell a lie, he set a 133.2. I don't know what's going on, but I think we'll stick with Legends. For the rest of this lap.
You're not quite sure what's going on here with the Delta, because it says he's not set a time, but I did see he did go over the line there. But it looks like his time was different on your screen than it was on mine. So, goodness knows. Let's have a look. No mention of CTX in the previous stewards report. But we will follow. He's not got the most ERS of anyone, and I'll tell you what. Why don't you take us through the tricky sector 3 then, Cruiser?
Absolutely. So up towards turn 11 now, a corner that we've seen cause multiple problems for all of our drivers, and there we go, right on cue. A perfect pirouette for Legends, and that'll mean potentially another pit stop, but with just 2 minutes and 40 seconds and another spin, I don't think Legends will have enough time to get another lap on the board, so it could mean that both of the Haas's are at the back of the grid for tonight's race.
Yeah, and we've got the scoop on CTX. Apparently his controller is messed up. It doesn't... one doesn't turn, the other disconnects constantly, so it's not looking great for CTX tonight. So, Croskery, if you're in a party with him, ask him to just connect it directly to the Xbox, take out any battery packs or anything, and yeah, see if that will help him out. He left the party 5 minutes ago. That sounds like the man is having very much anger issues with his with his controller, and yeah, fair enough. So I don't think we'll be seeing CTX back in a hurry unless he's run off to the store to get himself a new controller in time for the race.
Good luck, CTX, if that is the case.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, no wonder he was angry being in a party with Croskery. That would make me angry as well.
And a polite little pew pew in the chat for that.
Yeah. Piggle, don't be a dick. There you go. Oh, Valente.
Oh, Valente. Oh, dear.
I think when he rejoins the track, he's going to get this the next lap, so he might not even get... Oh no, he's not invalidated, so he needs to do a 132 dead, and I think that's his qualifying over. Oh dear.
Ah, Valenti.
Oh dear. That was something else, and yeah, we do a quick.
That was a little bit suspect there, Valenti.
Yeah, and yeah, if you can see it, if you can see on screen, the clip was recorded. That is shocking from the Ferrari driver. Speaking of Ferrari driver, the other one's not looking too great either. He's currently P14.
And he's gave up as well.
Yes, so I think he's probably safe though.
Yeah, Legends hasn't been improving this lap either. He's just keeping it the way of everyone on their final runs in Q1, so that a bit of an anticlimactic end to Q1, but we do have our eliminated drivers in CTX, Valenti slamming it into a wall, and Legends on their first outing are the bottom 3 in Q1.
Yeah, a little bit of action towards the top end, however, at the end of the session. So midfield Maestro getting into the 131 ones right at the death there, and he's put himself at the top for this qualifying session. Let's have a look at Morley. He will follow through with his lap.
It's looking pretty good.
It is an improvement by 1.5 tenths, and he was safe anyway, but an improvement nonetheless. It's about getting those laps on the board. So away the lads, and well, there you go. That is all she wrote for Q1. As Tricks and Pines, our third place man, has redeemed a drink for us both.
Oh, lovely. Yeah, you're going to be in big trouble tonight, David, I tell you that.
Well, the good thing about having it in this 500ml bottle is there's only 500 millilitres of it. So after that, I get to pour myself a more sensible version of the drink, if I even have another one.
The biggest negative is also the biggest positive for our main commentator this evening. Oh dear.
And to be honest, it's even more positive because it's actually clearing my congestion up a little bit bunged up today. Bit less so now. My nose is fairly clear.
Thankfully we did get screenshots from Q1 and now we await Q2, which I'd imagine would be nice and sunny once more once we load in.
Yeah, it turns out that early threat of a little bit of rain turned out to be, well, nothing. So
usual then.
Yeah, here we go. Q2, nice and sunny. Let's get those telemetry lap data up. Oh, as Ashdown has been booted from the session. Better get that man Ashdown back in his seat.
Indeed we will.
In the meantime, let's have another look at chat. That's not like Valenti to do it. Never done it in Tier 3. Yeah, well, I would like to agree as well. Having been Valenti's teammate for 2 seasons now. Of course, he was with me in Tier 3 last season. Doesn't strike me as the kind of guy that would do that on purpose. So, I don't know. We'll find out, shall we? Billy, the lad, spun on his fast lap, so I had no ERS for a proper lap. So I take it for that Billy, the lad, is legend.
I think it might be.
But never mind. You get to sit here in the Twitch chat, listening to our dulcet tones for the next half an hour or so, and I can imagine nothing better. Pickles saying punishment for getting knocked out. Well, it's not as bad as the punishment you get for being mouthy to the commentators. Especially considering they're both Twitch mods. So technically, insert Knuckles the Echidna JPEG. Oh no. I think we need we definitely need a Knuckles emoji, either in.
He went round.
It's a bit squeaky bum time for the Aston Martin of Nigel Pickle, who was on an outlap, so thankfully not going through their full pelt. What a shame if Pickle gets banned from Twitch. Would be such a shame.
Truly.
Absolutely. I'm not going to lie. If we could have analytics about who interacted the most in Twitch, I happen to know that I am top, and actually I suspect Cruiser is second, but I think Pickle's going to be up there in third, personally. So
I'm actually second in terms of interactions.
I don't know that for certain. I know it just tells you the top one. I'll find out later on in the stream.
Oh dear, I spend way too much time on Twitch. I really do.
The important thing is that you spend your time on Twitch watching FPRL, I suppose.
True, and not like certain other streams. You know who you are there, Silverside boy.
Watching the old hot tub streamers on the Twitch channel. Shocking. The thing is, we don't know if his internet's good enough to be able to watch us tonight. Unfortunately, his internet wasn't good enough to race tonight, which is why you're seeing more leader in the second McLaren. There goes
Ashy's
an Ashy. Yeah, so turns 1 and 2 proving very tricky for a few of the drivers today then. As more and more come across the line, set their first attempts, some better than others. I hasten to say Groundsy and Bawley will be looking for better, as Midfield Maestro straight away gets in a 1:31.2, nearly matching his Q1 time. So yeah, good lap from midfield with 10 minutes left to go in Q2, and that might be all he needed.
Definitely a strong lap for Midfield Maestro, and as you said, their teammate Groundsy and Bawley definitely would be looking for more improvement. And we also have, pretty early in the session, we got Tijim and Junuvane in the drop zone, along with Nigel Pickle, who's invalidated once more on their latest lap. So we're seeing quite a few candidates here. Some would tip for pole position in the drop zone, but we'll see where these drivers are after their first laps, as it will be Tijim who will head over the line first out of those in the bottom 5.
Yeah, so went a little bit wide at the last corner. He comes across the line, and it's only a 32.6 effectively. And at the moment, yeah, not good enough. He's in P7 with plenty of drivers still yet to set a lap. Who's going to be next?
I think to answer your question on is his internet strong enough, I believe Silversea Boy is on mobile data this evening, as I've just seen his name pop up in the Twitch chat.
Oh dear, I hope he's got unlimited. I happen to know that Twitch absolutely rinses data. So, well, it's kind of obvious. So, looks like Nigel has invalidated once again. So, yet to set a lap time. Let's have a look. We've got IFC Pines coming through Sector 3 now. We know he's got a really good pace, but he just needs to cut out the mistakes, and he is coming around the penultimate corner here in France. Hits the apex very nicely for the last corner and will come towards the line. Is it going to be a 30? It is indeed. The first man in the 30s. Great lap there from Pines.
Really strong lap from Pines, and we've got Mercedes 1 and 3 with Alpine 2 and 4. We're literally just hit the halfway mark in Q2, and jump as well. We got Snedden about to start their first flying lap of Q2. Phenom just making his way around the chicane around the back straight, so he'll be setting his lap in just a few moments. And starting to see as well potentially the cut-off time starting to develop throughout the field, and a little bit of a field spread as Stiffmeister goes up into 4th. And I think once again we're looking at toward maybe the mid 131s to high 131s if you want to guarantee your place in Q3.
Yeah, and absolutely, you can look at a few drivers that you could think would be worried about where they are, and it pretty much goes from 7th down at the moment. I think Borley will need to go again, and everyone underneath. Still 10th place only from Eagle at the moment then. That will be a little bit disappointing for the man. And also Ashdown, who's currently only in P9. So I'm sure he will be looking to improve. I don't think this is the lap. Nope, as he dives into the pits. So we've got a couple of guys on hot laps at the moment. We're going to hop in with Snedden as he comes around the last few corners. And of course Snedden, one of the fastest in the tier. And yeah, he's been pretty consistent in terms of pace and being towards the front. As it's only a 133, so I'm going to guess those were some old tyres, which baffles me a little bit. I'm not sure why you'd go on old tyres this late into the session. Surely you'd want as much time as possible to get in and put on a fresh set. Yeah, that's interesting. We'll see how this plays out. Unless he's planning on just going again. Oh, he is.
5 minutes. No, sorry, David, go ahead.
I was just saying, he's not turned his ERS off, but that might just be because he's in a bit of a hurry to get back to the pits. So we're also seeing Nigel having to go out again on another set of tyres. He didn't manage to set a clean lap on his previous set, so out he comes again. He's invalidated his out lap, which I hope is not a bad omen. Wait, I'm sure it said out lap a second ago.
You would not be mistaken, it did say out lap.
Well, it's got rid of Piggle's out lap. Well, it has now given him a timer for Sector 3, which I think it won't do normally under an outlap. So it's actually not the first time I've seen that. I think it did that for Legends in Q1. So here Piggle goes. Got to keep it within the track confines, turns 1 and 2, and it looks like he's managed to do that then. So coming through the rest of Sector 1, another tight right left, and followed by this double right-hander. Very, very tricky on traction up here. And he manages to navigate it just fine. And now down this long back straight into the chicane. Turns, what is it, 8 and 9?
Yeah, now it's just the run down towards the flat out turn 10 at a 50.5 second sector split. So this could be a really strong lap here for Nigel if he just keeps it facing straight.
Yeah, and that is absolutely imperative to, well, not just this lap. Well, he's invalidated.
Yeah.
Shocking.
I mean, well, he kept it facing straight, just couldn't keep it within the boundaries of the track, so I'm not taking that one as a Tom's curse.
Yeah. And into the pits, Piggle comes, and it's going to be a little bit touch and go whether or not he can get another lap in. And I tell you what, if you're in the pit right now, and you're certainly where TJ is, you need to come out. You do need to come out. And
yeah, there's like no time left at all, and I think TJM has heard you. He's just leaving the pits now. Just over 2 minutes left to go, and we're seeing again that we got Ashy down in 9th. He's got more than half a second to Shadows, who's invalidated their current lap right now. So he will have one more chance and one more shot to improve. But I think from maybe even Shadows downwards, or even if times are that close, Swed might not be safe either. He's only a couple of hundredths ahead of Ashy in 9th.
yeah, so coming towards the end of their lap, we've got Snedden, who's backed off. He's going to have one last run then. And the car in front was, I believe, a Williams of Stiffy. Stiffy is going to also go for one more flying lap. And is that Mr. Piggle right in front?
Indeed it is.
It looks like he could very well have got in the way of Stiffy there.
I think he's now he's out of the way, but Nigel is not going to get around here to complete this lap. He's not going to get round here, so Nigel is out.
Yeah, shocking from Nigel. I'm sure we'll all keep an eye just to make sure he doesn't go too far over. As more leader crosses the line, he goes into P10, and that pushes Ashdown down into P11. He's just started his final lap. Eagle comes across the line and goes P6 with a 131.3, and I tell you, your cut-off time nearly right as things stand, and Ashy is now on the cusp. The drivers behind will need to improve by over half a second to get into the top 10 shootout. We'll go with TJ, who has invalidated his lap.
Well.
Yikes for TJ. He will finish P13. Let's go with this man right here, Snedden, down in P14. Not ideal for him. He comes across the line. What's it going to be? It's P8. Ooh. And he's seen himself, and he's knocked Ashy out for the moment. Ashy now on his lap. He's just going through the middle sector now. Ashdown in the meantime is coming towards the end of his lap. I didn't see the delta as I switched to him, but he is carrying on, so he could very well be quicker. It's a 1:31.439 to beat. And he's not done it.
He's not done it.
He does go in front. No, he doesn't. He does start in front of TJ. And that means it's just Ashley to go, who's 1.3 tenths down on his time. Comes through the last corner. He's used his deploy. And that's going to cost him towards the end. And it was not an improvement. These Tidgems in the chat, raging about something or other. I'm not quite sure what. But context is absolutely key. So there we go then. Q2. Top of the list is Pines in the Mercedes, and so it looks like first to 10th, well, second to 9th, all in a big Mercedes sandwich to get into Q3. So we will unfortunately be losing both Aston Martins, that's Piggle and TJ, in 15th and 14th respectively. Ashdown unable to get out, he's in P13. More leader on his debut will start from 12th, and Ashy in the other Ferrari is in P11. My Discord is absolutely buggered. Jesus.
Oh dear. That's not good, is it?
Not ideal. Got held in the pits for 30 seconds when nothing was passing. I know what happened there, TJ, and you should look to the other side of your garage.
Not one to point fingers, but
it was definitely Pickle's fault.
We'll just drop all the arrows down from the ceiling and just point them all directly at Nigel Piddle.
Apparently multiple drivers having the same issue. As we start to get underway in Q3, Borley is out first.
Yeah, it's still Nigel's fault though. We'll always find a way to blame him.
Nigel collectively blocked everyone from starting their final lap. That was El Plan.
Yeah, I think it'd be very similar to the Formula 2 race around Austria. I think it was. I can't remember who it was, but they adopted some interesting tactics to block half the pit lane by just not moving at all in the pit lane, so nobody could go out and complete their lap. So
shocking. But I've never known this game to have any issues, so I don't know what you're on about.
Totally not. You should ask Iniesta about that. This game is absolutely perfect in every way. It was just his own input that sent him 200 mile an hour into the shadow realm.
Yeah.
Sorry, Flynn, I had to get it out of the way.
So, going through Sector 3 now, Borley to start off in Q3. The Alfa Romeo gets as straight an exit as possible off the last corner and will fly down into turn 1 at about 180 miles an hour before braking for the quick left right of turns 1 and 2. Keeps it within the limits at the exit, but he's cut turn whatever that is, 3, 4 maybe, don't know.
Details.
Who knows what a kink is in terms of racing, track racing. I definitely know what the other kind of kink is. We're not going there, alright? the kind of kink that makes Gary watch Hot Tub streams.
Anyway, back to Q3 here. We got Snedden right behind Bolly. Bolly has invalidated their lap, so it'll be Snedden who's the first driver in this session to set a lap time if he just keeps it in check.
Yeah, and he's coming round turn 10 as we speak. Well, no, okay. Turns 11 and now on to turn 12. Late apex you want here. You want to avoid that curb on the inside because it will send you spinning. Snedden does so wonderfully as he spots his braking zone for turn 14 and now around 15. He's clean. He's hugging the left. Is it a good lap? Is it in the 130s? It is indeed.
It is.
So 130.889 for the tier 2 driver. Oh, Phenom. Oh, Phenom. What has he done? He's only gone about a tenth quicker at this early stage. A great lap there from Phenom, and he's been showing some great pace recently. Let's see. We've got Squid coming to the line. He goes P3. It's a good lap from him. And Stiffy comes across the line only a 131.5. And next is that Junu Vane? I think he invalidated, so let's go with Eagle. Eagle will be the next. He pulls up and does a 131.2, and that puts him P3 at the moment. Pines, as mentioned earlier, has invalidated, so he'll be going again. And yes, I've just been reminded that I need to do a pole for pole.
It'll be a very, very quick pole for pole. We've got just over half of the session left, and Phenom setting the early pace, but Snedden, who did struggle actually to get into Q3, setting a really impressive lap for his standards. Up in second place, we've got Squid in third, and Groundsy, pretty consistent pace so far from Groundsy, up in fourth. And Nigel reminding me not to make excuses with my bias. Oh dear.
Well, the good thing about being Ferrari is you don't have to worry about being biased in a tier 3 Q3, because I mean it's a Ferrari no-go zone, really, if we're being honest.
Well, I know my qualifying's pretty poor in comparison, but also just to quickly mention as well, Nigel saying Crofty isn't biased, nor should you be. The thing is, everyone calls me Paul di Resta, so is he biased? I'm pretty sure he is a little bit biased, so I shall be as biased as I want to be. Which is not at all. Shit on the Mercedes, and shit on everyone that's not McLaren.
Alright, calm down.
Again, no bias. And I'm not going to repeat what Nigel said in the chat, but just leave it at that.
Apparently my
Anyway.
content does not meet the guidelines. I've got to find out what is breaking the language filter. I hope it's not the title. Is it Bawley's name? Bawley. No. Someone's name is Squid, Pines, Bawley, Snedden, Phenom, oh dear.
What?
It's not letting me post the poll because apparently I've probably put a rude word in it.
How?
I don't know.
Oh, Switch. Oh my god, if it's not Codemasters, it's you. Absolutely fraudulent.
And I do have a potty mouth, to be fair. But on this occasion, it's not actually me.
We're allowing the commentator to say whatever they want. Oh, whatever in quotations,
There you go.
but you're not allowed. Well, hey, about time.
Apparently, it was putting Pines' name as is written. Pxnez. Apparently, is a rude word. But never mind.
I'm not even going to ask. Right,
Crofty
quickly,
isn't
last
biased,
Pokeball.
nor should you be. I mean, Piggle, come. Have you literally ever listened to any flipping Sky Sports commentary? They are so far up Lewis Hamilton's arse. They've come out his bloody nose stud.
And that's opened a can of worms, and I'll let you tend to that.
Camera woes? Who's got camera woes? What? Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing at the moment. I'm kind of still thrown off by the fact that I struggled to get the pole for pole because Pines' name is profanity. Max
Anyway.
Cost Capstappen. That is a stretch, Piggle. That is a real stretch.
No comment. Anyway, Q3 final run. Snedden's going to be the first man to actually tell a lie. He'll just start his lap now.
He will indeed, and there we go then. Gets through turns 1 and 2. Avoids invalidating on the exit, which is a good start to his lap. Takes the most amount of road he can. Around turns 3 and 4 as he's coming around the frankly god awful long right-hander at the end of sector 1. Now coming through sector 2, nice and easy by comparison. 2 long straights, 1 DRS zone and 2 corners. And there you go, he gets through there very nicely indeed. Now up to turn 10. I mean, Piggle, if you're going to go for it, just go for Max Cost Kappen. I mean, it's not exactly that hard, but anyway, we move on. As Snedden rounds off his lap with his final 2 turns, nice and tight through 14, and kisses the curb on the inside, and he comes towards the line. Will he beat his time? There you go. That is
Wow.
1 1/4 tenths faster, but he stays P3 then. That's 4 thousandths slower than IFC Pines, who is going to be...
Ooh.
Oh well. Well, it was nice while it lasted. So, yeah, Phenom set a pretty decent lap, I suppose. It looks like it's last chance saloon for everyone else then. Pines is going for it, and he's going to make us wait the whole lap. Let's see who's coming through next. It will be Pines' teammate, who's 3 tenths up, and at the moment that'll put him in and around Pines and Snedden. He looks like he's gone a little bit wide, and that'll cost him on the last corner as he comes to the line. And he's gone only P4, but good lap all the same. Next across the line is Eagle. Eagle's 2 tenths up as he sets a 31 dead, and that is P5 for the moment. So the last few to come across the line, we've got Junu Vane, this will be his first lap in Q3.
And he stole it.
How's your nerves? How is your nerves? Let's have a look at Bawley coming across the line. It's not an improvement. Let's have a look at Pines. And it's only
he's just missed
P3.
as well.
Very close at the front, though.
Maestro
Very
was up to
close.
4th.
Yeah, great lap from Maestro. 3 tenths behind the guys in front, but best of the rest. Ignore the light show going on in the bottom right-hand side of your screen. It is not your screen, it is mine.
Oh dear. Just going to mention as well here, Phenom and Drownsy both getting into a bit of a pickle up at the chicane. Phenom spinning round, and I think Drownsy got spun round also on the inside curb. But sorry, Nigel, just saying that in the chat. But it's going to be Juno Vane from absolutely nowhere snatching pole for the Tier 2 French Grand Prix.
Yes.
Yeah,
Definitely Crossgrey. If you think about it, that can also tie into Piggle's comment just before it, because we know what happens on In the Garden of 10 Downing Street. Anyway, actually, it's more in the toilets of the Houses of Parliament. Gove. Anyway, moving on. If you get it, you get it. If you don't, I'm sorry. So there you go.
Of them dead. The chat is just completely went too far. Anyway.
So there you go. That's qualifying over. We're gonna take a quick break while the drivers have a comfort break. Well, at least hopefully we will, as we're now in the lobby, and I'm sure nothing can happen. A what break? A quick break. Come on, Pickle. Why did you say that, Dave? Why did I say anything? Shocking. Gary can't time me out because 1, I'm not even there, and 2, did I say a cum break? I know you deleted it, Cruiser, but I read it out loud. Oh, my mic cut out. How did my mic cut out? Shocking.
Oh dear.
Shadows asking, have we got a sponsor today? We do, but
hey,
the sponsor only pays us if we have a safety car. So
yeah,
I'm not reading the ad unless we get a safety car, unfortunately. And speaking of ads, should I run an ad? Oh, I haven't got Chrome open, so I need to open my creator dashboard.
I was going to mention
Crossgrey did say no ads, so I guess we won't run an ad. I could stop the stream and restart it. That would force everyone to watch an ad. Everyone that's not subscribed, of course. Oh dear. Why the drinks out of stock? Are the drinks been well, the drinks are out of stock, David, because that you can activate them once every 5 minutes, but I didn't think they were. Let me test that. I don't know if I'm restricted in terms of when I can redeem these.
Oh, of course you redeem it for me. Okay.
Well, I didn't really want to give myself one. Yep, no, they're not restricted. Perhaps you've run out of channel points. There you go. I've redeemed one for me as well. So
there we go. Well, you did say it would help you out, so.
And also goes to everyone else. Be sure to stay hydrated, even in the winter months. It's good for your body, it's good for your mind, it's good for your soul. Doesn't have to be alcoholic. Just give your brain some lovely, lovely, refreshing water, and it will thank you for it.
Absolutely. Oh, and the countdown has begun.
Yep, and so before we go for the grid rundown, I want to say a big thank you to Captain Birthday 51 for the follow. Much appreciated.
Thank you, Captain.
Every ad on stream funds the Burnt Mindlanders. What? Paycheck. Jesus, I'm sitting too far away from Twitch chat.
What do you think it said?
I thought it said physique, but spelt really badly.
Right, I think the drinks are kicking in now for David, so this is going to be an entertaining race.
Oh dear. Unfortunately, Gary's got a wedding. Getting up for quali tomorrow. What time is quali?
I think it's... Whoa, Oscar. Whoa.
Oh, absolutely golden.
Far.
Oh dear. Should we go through the grid?
Yeah, and just quickly before we do, qualifying I think is at 7 AM UK time.
PM? AM.
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 Yes.
Fantastic. Well, I got up for Australia, so I don't see why I couldn't get up for Japan.
All-nighter incoming. Let's go.
Yeah. So, in fact, why go to bed? I can think of plenty of reasons why to go to bed. Anyway, do you want to go through the back 9? And I'll go through the front 9. It's like we're playing golf here. I'm already in the 19th hole.
Nice. Oh, someone had problems. I think Nigel's had a spin. Yep, that's a good start, Nigel. Anyway, back of the grid this evening, and on the back row we've got CTX, who didn't set a lap in qualifying, and rather mysteriously retired. Seems like he didn't want to do any running at all. In P17 we have Valente, and P16 we've got the other half of Legends in their first outing, and a good luck to you. P15 and P14 we have the Aston Martins of Nigel Piddle and TGM. In 13th we have the Williams of Shadows. 12th in that lovely beautiful McLaren we've got Leader, or More Leader, in 12th, and P11 we've got Ashy in the other Ferrari.
Okay, so top 10 we've got Stiffy in the Williams, Stiffminster in the Williams. P9 is Groundsy in the Alpine. P8 Bawley in the Alfa Romeo. P7 is Eagle, the Alpha Tauri. Then the first of the Mercedes, Squid. P6 Snedden in the other McLaren in P5. Last time we'll get to see this McLaren in a race, of course. P4 the other Alpine of Midfield Maestro. 3 is IFC Pines, and your front row this evening, Phenom and Genuvain, as just 2, maybe 3, getting the big disqualification tonight. No, just the 2. That's Valente and someone that I wasn't paying attention to further back. So let's have an eye on these lights, and out they go, and they are away. Junu's had a really good start. It looked like Phenom bogged down a little in the second phase as they go side by side. Phenom's been hit.
Crash. Oh dear.
Oh, big accident there. I wish I had a better camera angle. But
Safety car.
yeah, the safety car is out. That was awful. Tier 2, I told you to be better than last night. You have failed to deliver, and for that reason I'm out. I can't really drop the mic because it's in a stand, but you'll have to imagine a mic drop moment there. Yep, so safety car, safety car. We only made it to turn 1. No drivers have crashed out, but I mean, if you look at it, Junuvane in the front, he built quite the lead over the man in P2, which is Nigel Piggle. Let's have a quick look at the tyre choice. Well, it's very heavily in favour of the hard tyres. Just 2 drivers running on the mediums. That is Stiffy and Legends. Everyone else on the harder compound. Let's have a look to see the big winners and losers. And I tell you what, how has he done that, Cruiser?
I couldn't tell you, to be honest. Nigel Peddle up 13 places already.
Yeah, really good stuff from the Aston Martin driver. I'm sure everyone got caught up in troubles, and he's just found the line, and he's just gone round the outside. I'll take second, thank you very much. So what a great start from Mr. Piggle. Although quite a lot of drivers, I think, have had very good starts. If you look at the top 8, they've all gone up over 5 positions. In fact, the lowest number is 7. So, yeah, fantastic start for half the grid. And I suppose in the other way, it's a shocking start for the other half of the grid. Gary is lamenting not being here, saying, I could have taken advantage of this. No. And what I say to that, Gary, is, what are you on about? You would have been in the thick of it.
I laugh, but we joke, but it's probably true, knowing what would have happened to Silverside Boy, but as well, Midfield Maestro, I think he's driving near enough half a car this evening, saying he's got front wing damage from the crash at turn 1 and potential rear wing damage as well. This could be a long evening for the Alpine. Snedden also getting caught up as well, down in 17th. But everyone, I think, from CTX downwards have made a pit stop. Oh, and Maestro's went round again. Yeah, it's going to be a very long evening for them.
Was that... yeah. So we saw a similar thing happen on Wednesday night. I think Fishsticks had rear wing damage and floor damage at the back, and yeah, that basically made that one corner completely undrivable for the entire race, and you don't want to see it for anyone, but I'd imagine it's going to be, as you say, really, really tough for Midfield Maestro. Button in the chat saying Eagle has got damage on every panel except his drinks bottle. So, actually, yes, Eagle, you will have the drink. And he's currently...
And only the drink.
Only the drink. Downforce? No. Mechanical grip? No. The drink? Yes.
And it seems like Maestro is going for an early bath. It seems they are out of the race.
Yeah, and of course there's only one type of bath in FPRL, and that consists of the hot tub in Bidley's back garden. So yeah, we'll see you there at the end of season stream. Oh dear. And
anyway,
here they are, all very bunched up on this 1 kilometre straight. As you so pointed out last night, I'm unashamedly stealing your bit of trivia.
I don't even know if it's... I think it's probably false trivia. I don't even know if that is actually a 1 kilometre long straight.
Well, let's put it this way. Nobody's going to check, so...
Yeah, true.
Gary is tipping TJ, who's up into 6th. He's tipping TJ to go back to the top of the championship tonight. And it's a bold statement, but we know the guy. He stays out of trouble at the start of races, and well, actually for the whole race, he tends to stay out of trouble, and that can bring him into it. He just needs to keep the penalties down, and I'm sure he can do so. He'll be in for some good points, hopefully, tonight. As we see now, Junivane backing up the pack in Sector 3. And I think Junu will probably at least wait until the last corner. And it looks like he's gone. And he's caught Piggle a little bit unawares. He's trying to break the slipstream, and he sort of has done, so it's a successful getaway there from Junivane in the lead, from Nigel Piggle in second, Stiffy in third, Shadows down in P4, more leader up in P5 as...
Oh, Tidgems went round!
Oh, Tidgham, no! Oh, I... Honestly! Oh dear. As TJ would say, honestly. Yeah. We keep hearing sort of talk in the chat about there being some rain coming up later in the session. So yeah, I'm sure engineers in the garage seeing those rain graphics come over in their direction. So we'll wait and see what happens, but for the moment we're staring at the front as we see some of these now medium runners making some moves. CTX looks like he's really struggling at the moment, unless that's his AI. I'm not sure. Oh yeah, it's almost certainly AI. Because, oh, everyone's literally just going round and round. And Ashy made a move past, but Eagle's done both of them. That was a great move by Eagle there. Yeah, and there's confirmation from Crosscree that CTX is AI. Junivane sets the fastest lap of the race. And we'll jump back to have a look at some of the fighting going on further down as we're seeing... with the last of the cars catch up and pass CTX. Let's have a look at Phenom, who is on the back of Squid, who's actually got onto the back of Valente at the rear end of the points then. So who's sticking out for you at the moment then, Cruiser?
Well, Juno's been getting off to a relatively safe restart. Nigel keeping up with them in second. Stiffmeister though in third on the medium compound tyres. So, and with the threat of rain, and I'm seeing as well here, those clouds are starting to form over this French Grand Prix circuit. So if Stiffmeister can stretch these medium tyres to when the crossover point is for the intermediates, he could be on for a good result here, but he's got to keep up with the lead two and not lose any places behind. And the next driver actually right behind him is his teammate Shadows, and more leader as well, up in 5th, and Legends up in 6th place as well. These two definitely holding their own in the early stages of this race.
Yeah, it's been a good showing from these two new guys, currently P5 and P6 as you say. Definitely benefiting from the earlier incident. It was Ashy. What's happened to Ashy? Has he binned it on the entrance to the pit lane?
No, I think he's just retired in the pits.
Shocking.
And I wonder if CTX going in AI mode, or his AI car, might have gave Ashy front line damage, and with the threat of rain just being too close, it'd be too much time for Ashy to make up. So Ashy and midfield man, the two drivers out of this race. I mean, not even on lap number 7 yet, but up at the front, Nigel Piggle does have DRS on Junivane. He's slowly reeling in that Red Bull, but just not enough of a straight line for Nigel to really mount an assault.
Yeah, and he's really rinsing the ERS at the moment, and it's going to be hard for him as Phenom's made an incident. Yeah, he's gone off at turn 9, and he rejoins back in front of CTX. So Yeah, not great for Phenom. He was fighting his way back through the field after a turbulent start.
Oh, and Ted just made contact with CTX at the back.
Oh, CTX, your AI is shocking. And yeah, there goes TJ. His rears are on fire. And it's not the place in the track you want to be having 100-degree tyres. Yeah, you don't want it to happen here, as I'm sure he'll navigate his way into the pits. And speaking of being into the pits, in comes CTX's AI as Squid getting past Valente, then getting past the Ferrari, the lone Ferrari left in this race. And Pines looking to do the same. Pines just pushes his way through there. It's a good move. Forceful, but fair. And Valente will now get DRS and maybe will get the double toe. It will definitely protect him from the drivers behind, as Eagle and Snedden going side by side through turn 7. And they will continue all the way down the straight into the right left. Snedden looks like he's got the move done. Bawley's sending it round the outside, but it didn't quite work out. It was too late a move, and Eagle's lost another place to Groundsy. Eagle really struggling with his apparent damage.
Groundsy has. He's just got past 3 of them in one straight.
What a move by Groundsy that was. I just saw him nip up the inside. Ooh, that was very close on the exit. Groundsy to the inside defending. Snedden's going to look to get the cutback. Oh, Groundsy's on the curb, and he has... Oh, he's made some contact. It's all getting a little bit scruffy as there's a car round.
Oh, it's Legends.
Oh, no. And Groundsy's still squirming there through the end. And Groundsy goes down to P11, overheating his tyres towards the end of that lap, and he's really struggling now. Eagle gets past, and he's now onto the back of Snedden. Looking further forward then, we've got Stiffy, who has managed to reel these front 2 back in, helped of course by Nigel, I'm sure, rinsing all his ERS and being unable to make the pass. And yeah, nothing doing then into turns 8 and 9. We'll jump further back as we see the Mercedes drivers swapping position. But I don't know about you, but I think there's some rain on my screen right now.
And there's rain appearing on my screen as well. And yeah, it's starting to rain here in Paul Ricard.
Well, that is interesting then. I don't think the drivers will be as lucky as we were the other week in Tier 3 to have a safety car right as the weather was changing. So it's all about the call for the for the intermediate tyres, and I think at the moment it's probably 1 or 2 laps off, maybe even 2 or 3. We'll see how it progresses, but yeah, the drivers are going to start losing time now, and I would imagine some of those on the higher tyre pressures are going to start struggling more and more.
One driver though this is really helping though is Stiffmeister, and as well we're looking at Squid down in 7th. He is getting in a little bit of a fight with Pines, but he is still keeping within the DRS range of his teammate. But these two and everyone else who've actually pitted onto the mediums for this little stint till the rain, and I think Tidgems had even more problems just at turn 1, as I'm on board with Snedden here, and he's got right round the outside of Valente, out dragging the Ferrari, and that's the McLaren up into 6th place. And like you said, David, we're not too far away here from a switch onto intermediate tyres. And Juno then, as well, he's got a 3-second penalty up at the front as well.
Yeah, not sure when he got that. No, he missed it, but yeah, that could prove very costly. As on lap 9, that will put Stiffmeister into the net lead, but there's still plenty of racing to go here. Apparently, Crossgree wants to see Eagle versus Groundsy for a little bit. I mean, I don't see why not. They are the closest on the track, apart from maybe Borley.
Phenom's the first into the pits, and this is surely...
Oh, DRS disabled. That could be.
DRS.
That could be the GOAT move.
That could have been the perfect timing for the Alfa Romeo.
Yeah, I reckon he had Michael Massey in his ear. Oh, as Groundsy drives into the back of Eagle there, and he's going around the inside, sorry, and Groundsy gets the move done. Rubbing is racing with these two. As confirmation then, Phenom has come out on the intermediate tyres as DRS is disabled, and I wonder if we're going to see any mistakes on this damp track on these slick tyres, because it can't be a lot of fun, especially for those with prospective damage.
Just seeing as well though, look at how Giudice and how slippery that track is getting right now. St. Genevieve, Nigel Pedal, Stiffmeister, all three up at the front. Until like Shadows as well. The top four in this race separated by 1.5 seconds. And if you were Stiffmeister here or Shadows, this rain is going to be an absolute disaster for one of you, because in the pit stops you've got to wait for your teammate to get served, and that is unfortunately going to fall to Shadows as Moorleader gets a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane, and Snedden has jumped Swed on the pit lane entry.
Yeah, I just about caught some of that, and yeah, it looks like that was a little bit touch and go. As there we go, we got front wing changes in the Mercedes garage, but let's hop up to see where Phenom is going to come out, as the leaders have gone through. I think maybe Phenom might have... He didn't really gain as much as you thought he might there, to be honest. But he's come out in P8, which isn't bad. Yeah, a little bit underwhelmed by that undercut. It was seemingly perfect timed. Oh, Belente's picked up a 3-second. Yeah, and last person to pit is the AI of CTX.
Look as well here, I've seen Nigel Piddle has lost out to Stiffmeister in those pit stops, and looking as well, speaking of the pit stops, Shadows and Squid, the two drivers who had to double stack because of their teammates, they too, we see Shadows going from 4th down to 5th, so it's not that bad for the Williams, but we've seen Squid right down in 14th. He's definitely lost out in these pit stops.
Yeah, not ideal there for the aquatic squid, the fake member of Team Fish Face. Having said that, I've never seen an aquatic eagle, so maybe you don't have anything to do with marine wildlife to be part of Team Fish Face.
I don't quite know what an aquatic lol face is, but I'll have to go.
I can swim.
Have to go with that.
That's good enough. Yeah, Button chimes in with a sea eagle.
I suppose.
Silverside's going for eaglefish.
But I suppose in line with the conversation, we went from motorsport to water sports here, that this track is getting all the more like a river all the time, and Legends had even more problems not liking these wet conditions. But Junivane up at the front, that gap that was like 0.6 of a second to Nigel Piddle is now 3.1 seconds to Stiffmeister now in second place. So Junivane, if it were to end the race right now, he would have that penalty buffer, and he should keep first place.
Yeah, and looking at Piggle, it looks like he's really struggling. He's got no ERS, he's just picked up another 3-second time penalty. And it looks like he's just really struggling to get hold of the car. He drove off and must have got a warning in a straight, which is interesting to say the least. But yeah, Nigel looking to really struggle now as he racks up the penalties. We'll have a look at the battle for P4 then, as we've got Ashdown, Shadows right on the back of More Leader, and we'll see if he can make a move into turn 1. It doesn't quite look like it, so he might have the better frontline speed, but through the corners we should see, as we do, Ashdown really catching, and it might make him better off the corners, but we will need to wait and see. We'll look further back as Phenom is right on the back of Snedden. Coming around the middle sector now. Ooh, looks like Snedden went a little bit wide. I'm not sure if there was a tap. Oh, and Snedden's got a snap of understeer, and Phenom's had to take evasive action off the grid, and that was a somewhat unsafe rejoin. And yeah, there's been some issues there, to say the least. Bawley is now fighting with Balente. Balente concedes the position. And the Ferrari man back down to P9 then, but still in the points as things stand.
As well, while we were looking at Snedden and Phenom, Shadows did get past Leader going down towards turn 8, so that's now the Williams unleashed from the back of the McLaren, and Nigel is racking up a ton of penalties here. I think he got another 3-second penalty, so on the penalty graphic we're seeing Junivane on the 3 seconds as we already brought up, but Nigel on 9 seconds, so that is definitely going to hinder his result to the end of the race.
Yeah, to be beaten only by the man in P15, that is TJ, who's, well, to be honest, he's got 2 corner cutting penalties and presumably 1 for speeding into the pits. So the man that I said needed to avoid getting penalties has indeed got a few penalties, so I apologise unrepeatedly to Mr. TJ. And we're looking at a P5 and 6 for McLaren at the moment. The gap between the two is about 7.6, 7.7 seconds, and that seems to be stable. More Leader in front does have a 5-second penalty that he's carrying through, but Phenom now looking to break up that 5th 6, and he doesn't have the straight line speed. Oh, Snedden goes across the corner and picks himself up a 3-second time penalty there. Heavily defensive line from Snedden, and yeah, he just turned in too early, and yeah, really bounced across that curb. We'll keep with Phenom as he really is. Oh, Snedden's gone! Oh, Snedden's gone and out!
Oh no!
Oh, what's gone on there? The safety car is out!
Oh no!
Oh. Yeah, I'm not sure what happened. It looked like he put his foot down and into the wall he went. His front right is definitely not happy as it spins away, but yes, the safety car is out once again. So race gets neutralised once again as Junu maybe went round before the safety car managed to get out of the pits, I guess. Either way, he's gone past the safety car. So around a lap they go with the Delta. Let's hope there's no Delta shenanigans. Ah, so here we go again then, Cruiser. Nice fail on the emoji, by the way. Or
Well, okay.
did that fail? I don't know. Is it that the emoji doesn't show in Streamlabs?
Right, there you go.
Yeah, it doesn't show. Doesn't show in Streamlabs.
Yeah. Disappointing.
But it's interesting because when I put it, it does. So, oh well. Who cares?
Only you can possess the power of the mighty lolface, so...
Yeah. Oh dear, so... Well, we're only on lap 16.
Oh well.
Yeah, apparently we've got to pay attention to the race. So yes,
Yeah.
Groundsy has
Unfortunately.
apparently put on the full wet tyres, and
Oh yeah.
it doesn't look like full wet weather, if you ask me.
Whatever. Under the safety car, the rain could get heavier. And very similar, you brought up what happened between me and you in Austria with the wet weather. Maybe Groundsy's maybe doing a similar, or maybe playing a similar sort of hand that we were dealt in Austria tonight in France.
Yeah, well, it could be not too long before we find out if the gamble has paid off. We'll see how quickly. Keep a close eye on that delta between Squid and Groundsy. They will both be going pretty much flat out at the moment. In my experience, it's very rare you see in the mid-race you see a track deteriorate from inters to full wets, but yeah, we'll find out soon enough. I think that's all the sort of official racing things we've got to keep up with. I think. So I think it's about time we did our sponsor.
Well, hey.
We've got to get paid, and well, okay. We've got to go for Bert Mylander physique update. We've got to save the money to make sure that he can still stand.
Oh! So before we move on to the sponsor break, more leaders in the pits now. So maybe Groundsy's going to set off a bit of a chain reaction here among the field. Just stick with more leader when they go into their pit box. And oh, it's another set of intermediates, so they're using this as a chance to get rid of their 5-second penalty from earlier in the race.
Yeah, and on goes the fresh set of rubber then. And out he comes. I have to admit, it doesn't look like it's wet enough. Generally speaking, if you see puddles, that's when you want wet tyres. And I'm not seeing any puddles. It is looking wet though. So, you know, well, like I said, we won't know until we go.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh. Ugh. I think it's catching up with me now.
Oh dear.
The problem is I'm thirsty.
Oh, we need to know what you're drinking though.
Yeah.
Cause
Well, the sponsor's in my ear and they're saying kill people, but that might not be the sponsor. That might be some. Okay. I'm getting banned off Twitch for saying that.
whoa.
Don't do that.
Right, and we are officially moving over to YouTube like everyone else.
We can't actually stream onto YouTube straight from the Xbox, which is actually a shame. I did look that up the other week when Twitch was having an issue. And yeah, so unfortunately, there's no straight to YouTube through the app streaming. Of course, I could do it through a capture card, but I'd need to be constantly on the stream, which I don't want to do. I kind of want to race. Yeah. So, bracing for a late safety car call. I'm going to swiftly go through the sponsor and say, actually, is he? No, he's staying out. Good old Bert, staying out for an extra lap.
Oh,
what a hero. Just so he can get his paycheck.
Burns a legend, mate.
Yeah, absolutely. Big shout out, Bert Mylander. And yes, so this is the reminder to you all that Fair Play Racing League is brought to you by tonight's sponsor, David's Bevy of the Week. It seems like ages since I've done this. Yeah, and this is the part of the stream where I go full unprofessional. I know, shocking, I haven't gone full unprofessional before this point. And I tell you what's fueling the commentary tonight with me and my co-coms. So, tonight is actually bottled, 500ml bottle of Pepsi Max, topped up with some Jim Beam. I know it's not Jack Daniels, but it's a hell of a lot cheaper, and it's not too bad. So yeah, I unfortunately drunk too much out of the bottle before I put in the Jim Beam, and you know you have to fill it up. You always have to fill it up. So now I'm drinking a very strong drink this evening.
Like I mentioned before, like I mentioned at the start of the race, this could get very interesting, both in the comms box and actually while we were going through the sponsor break, Valenti went into the pits and they've put on a set of wet compound tyres also.
Yep, and it would be hard to say whether or not that will be through just to try something else, or whether it is genuinely whether these drivers are seeing those puddles form offline. We'll find out soon enough, as maybe the intermediate tyres will start to struggle for grip, and we might be able to see Groundsy and Valenti make some moves early on. But we are getting ready to go again. Junuvane is the lead driver, and he goes slightly before the last corner, and that looks like it caught Stiffy out just a little bit. Nigel Piggle is right on the back of him, but he too far back to go for a move into turn one, I think. Yes, indeed. And we'll keep a close eye on Groundsy and Valenti.
Stiffmeister.
What happened to Stiffy? Did he have a bit of a wobble?
He was very wide into turn one, and that just allowed him to go very wide in turn out of turn two. And Nigel has just said, "Thank you very much. I'll take second place off of you, Stiffmeister." And now Shadow's really heckling his teammate around turn five. Stiffmeister not liking these conditions on this safety car restart, but he does know that Nigel and Junuvane have penalties in front of him. And I say that as Shadows has now went past them, so it seems like that there's no team orders down at Williams, and these two could find themselves fighting for a potential victory, with both of the Alfa Romeos looming large.
Yep, and importantly, looking further back, Groundsy getting the move done on Squid earlier this lap. More Leader has also got past Squid at this point. Groundsy looks like he's got some pace on those full wet tyres at the moment. He's on the back of Eagle, and he's got so much more grip. Eagle goes out wide, and Groundsy gives Eagle the squeeze on the exit. He won't thank him for that, and he's still there on the inside. And I tell you what, it looks like those wets are the tyre to be on.
Certainly seems like it, but we're not seeing anyone else in the pits so far. So I don't know if this is just because Groundsy's got the tyres in a better like in a better condition, or as you said, they are actually the right tyre to be on. But we're on lap 20 of 27, just 8 laps left to go here in France. So if Groundsy has made the right call, I get the feeling that everyone will try and stay out and potentially not take another hit of another pit stop.
Yeah, but of course, on the flip side is it might be that the rain dies off a little towards the end, and maybe the wet conditions could only be a temporary thing. Oh, Groundsy getting all out of shape. I'd say the important thing to look at will be that delta between P7 and P8, this man here. Gap has been 1.8 seconds since the start of the lap. We'll go further back as moves are happening. And yeah, it looks like Eagles squabbling with More Leader and Squid still. But further up, we've got the Alfa Romeos also having a little bit of a tussle. And right behind them... Oh, Pickle's got into the lead. Pickle gets past Junuvain. Oh, Junu smacked to the...
massive snap, and he's hit Shadows.
Oh, no. Oh, it looked like... Yeah, Junuvain hit the back of Nigel Pickle. And that sent his car going. He tried to keep his foot in, but he was left and right, and eventually he just ran out of... well, not talent, that's a bit rude. You run out of time to try and straighten the car out, and the other drivers caught him, and now Junuvain down in P11. That's a real shame for the Red Bull driver, as now looks like the real battle for the lead could be between the Williams teammates, Shadows and Stiffmeister. At the moment, Shadows with the upper hand, but right behind him is both the Alfa Romeos, Phenom and Bally. Phenom having a really good recovery after early incidents. And not too far behind them is Pines, who we know definitely has pace today. Catching him is the man on the wets. He's taken 4 tenths out of Pines just towards the end of Sector 1 and the start of Sector 2. So don't count him out to get in the mix with those in front of him at the moment. It's all very close still. Of course, Nigel in the lead has 9 seconds worth of penalties as we go further back, and the new guys are fighting. More Leader and Legends. More Leader getting past. So, as it stands, the McLaren driver doubling his points tally as Eagle goes horrifically wide. And he looks to be struggling on these tyres. No, oh, Groundsy, no! Yeah, I'm not sure what's happened to Groundsy there. He's come into the pits though. Could that be for intermediate tyres? Could his tyres have been overheating and he's binned it, as Legends now fighting once again with More Leader. Ooh, and More Leader squeezes him out on the inside of turn 2 and gets makes sure the move sticks as TJ picks up another 3-second penalty. I think he's now on par with the Pickle. Wah! Excuse me. Oh, looking further up. Stiffy's been passed by the first Alfa Romeo then. And so that he does indeed split the Williams, and second to fifth is now a checkerboard of Williams and Alfa Romeo, the two relative backmarkers in real life, fighting it out for 2 podium positions and potentially all 3 podium positions at this point if Nigel can't get his finger out his arse and pull away more. The gap at the moment is 3.9 seconds.
That is one way of putting it.
Yeah, at the moment Piggle is going to be finishing down in P7 as Bawley's... What's happened to Bawley?
I think Bawley just ran into the back of Stiffmeister.
Oh no! And the virtual safety car's out. Balente.
Massive, massive delta.
Oh,
everyone.
delta.
They've actually stopped.
For God's... Oh,
my God. How many drivers was that? I swear, like 5 drivers just got a drive-through penalty.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 drivers.
Oh my God.
Do you know what, Cruiser?
That's not fair.
This game is perfect and has no bugs.
You joked, but I'm just gonna go out on a limb here. Like, honestly, that is an absolute embarrassment, Toadmasters. Seriously, an absolute joke. Because, David, you can agree, this has been a really, really interesting race. Up at the front, we've had mishaps, we've got Nigel Piddle leading the way, albeit with 9 seconds of penalties, and we had a brilliant fight for what could have been the lead of the race between the Alfa Romeos and the Williams. And now we can't even decide what in order the field's going to be in, as we see Pines is now up ahead of Stiffmeister and Shadows at the VSC restart, but 7 drivers carrying a drive-through penalty. That's going to completely ruin the end of this race. I
don't have any words. I really fucking don't.
I'm gonna go out on a limb. I know I'm trying to be professional, but Toadmasters, get your shit together, because it's an absolute joke.
It's the second time
this race.
The second time this week a race has been completely fucking ruined by shit coding. Honestly, it's just a fucking joke.
Honestly, it's an absolute embarrassment now. And we're seeing more leader legends, who both of them are driving an absolutely brilliant race on their debuts as Shadows makes his way into the pits. I'm assuming for a front wind change, but we're seeing more leader, we're seeing Stiffmeister, Legend, Squid, Junuvane. They're all having to pit now for a drive-through penalty, which couldn't have been prevented, even if they could have potentially done it themselves at this coding for this game, and that's going to just ruin the whole result of the racing. But anyway, we'll try and salvage what we can from this race. With 4 laps to go, Nigel Piddle leads them, and he does have that 9-second gap back to Phenom, so even despite all of this, Nigel could still win this race. But no offence to Nigel, this is a race that will not be remembered for the victor. It will be remembered for the absolute spoils and the robbery of what could have been an absolute grandstand finish.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sorry, I've completely lost enthusiasm, as Phenom and Pines are currently fighting for P2, and Piggle meanwhile has won the lottery. He has his 9 seconds. It's now increasing to 10 seconds. Sorry, it's just absolutely shocking. Everyone but Junuvane has served their drive-through then. Nigel Pickle now over 10 seconds in the lead. Pines all out of shape, with Phenom still sniffing behind. Pines did very well to collect himself there. And Junuvane deciding not to come through for the drive-through. He could find himself disqualified very soon if he doesn't pit. And there you go. Phenom is now 7 tenths back, so he might have made a mistake through that last corner from Pines. That gap coming down a little to Nigel Pickle, and there's, well, it's up and down actually a little bit. What else do we have on track? Let's try and salvage something out of this race, guys, as we've got Eagle fighting with Shadows for the last point. Junu picks up a 3-second time penalty for track limits. Let's go on board with Shadows as he stares at the back of the AlphaTauri. Gets a really good drive out of turn 2. And he looks like he's going to have the move done into turn 3. He does. Great move there from Shadows. And Eagle now has to settle in behind. There's just 2.5 laps left to go. And at the moment, this is how it stands. There's no real fighting happening, really. So, yeah. So what did you have for dinner, Cruiser?
Funnily enough, I've not actually had anything for dinner yet, but I think anything that has happened is going to be fairly sorely felt. But I suppose moving from one Williams to another, we've got Stiffmeister having to defend against Valenti, but Shadows is caught right back up to the Ferrari. The Ferrari carrying a 3-second time penalty as well, but up at the front, Junuvane is going to have to serve that drive-through or risk being unfairly disqualified from the end of this race. That will then put CTX up into 4th place, and that's also potentially going to promote more leader and legends. These two still at it near track.
Yeah. So I think it's probably worth saying that CTX is AI and he will be disqualified from the standings. So everyone 5th and below will get moved up 1 position. So that indeed means that in 10th place is Eagle, so he will be getting a point as things stand. As Junu
round as well now at turn 1.
Yeah, Junu is round. And yeah, it's gone from bad to worse for the Red Bull man.
Yeah. Sorry to everyone watching, but we're really sorry. Just that whole incident with the virtual safety car and the drive-through penalties, that has just completely ruined the mood, I'm sure, for everyone watching and for those who will hopefully be watching this somewhere down the future. But just absolutely no words. We've been robbed off of a really good finish. But Nigel, nonetheless, still soldiering on in France, and he will go up to the start-finish line for the final time, the final lap here in France.
Yeah, but he's got 7 tenths in hand over Pines in 2nd place. Make that 5 tenths. Great drive off the last corner there for Pines, and he's really got a push. And he's got 33% battery to Piggle's 8, and we'll see if this gap can be closed. I suppose that is the biggest gap the closest battle we've really got on track. And so yeah, Pines did, as TS9 in the chat points out, Phenom did drop off the back of Pines. Pines showing that almighty speed. The gap now down to 9.3 seconds. A little bit of a wobble there for Pines on the exit of turn 7. And now he comes around down the straight. That is sitting around 9.4, 9.5. He's got half a lap to go. It's heavily downforce based. Oh, he's got another great drive off the corner. The gap down to 9.1, 9.0. Oh, tell you what, we could still yet have some form of Grand Slam finish. 9.0, 8.9.
He's within range.
Oh, this is going to be so tight. I think if Pines can get a drive off the last corner like he did on the last lap, it can happen. But on the track, Nigel Piggle comes around the last corner and boosts to the line. It might not be enough though. He comes over the line. Pines round the last corner and across the line to take the win in Paul Ricard. And Phenom rounds off the podium. We'll ignore CTX because he's not been here. His AI still managed to get 4th. Don't know what that shit's about. More leader then, in his first race, picks up a P4. Legends picks up a P5. Great debut from those two. Shadows.
Held on.
Yep, Shadows picking up P6. Oh my god, this is confusing. Stiffy P7, Valente P8, Eagle picking up 2 points in P9. And
somehow Hitting picks up a point in 10th.
He could have the worst race of anyone and he'd still pick up a point.
Every point counts in the Tier 2 Championship, and of course with Snedden not scoring, it's 1 point gained for TGM, but still, I think that's one race we've been robbed in Tier 2.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens with that after the race, but absolutely shocking. You might not have heard the last of it. So this is your provisional standings then. At the front, I think it's possible there might have been some driver penalties. I think quite possibly, but either way, yeah, that is the provisional results. And well, that was a race. That was a race that happened.
Was.
Apart from when it wasn't a race, when it was a farce.
Yeah.
And it certainly was that for at least a small amount of time.
But it will need to be.
Oh, thank God we're ending the lobby. And I will remember Mercedes on the top spot, as I assume you've not done a me and forgotten that you were on CoComs.
Oh wait, was I? Oh crap, we got 10 seconds left. Never mind, I got the screenshots in.
Yeah.
I got the screenshots and invites have been sent out. So we shall wait for our drivers to join up and we shall begin our post-race interviews. But I think there'll be quite a few choice words from a few of our drivers as to how that went.
Honestly, you can't do anything but laugh. And not a good, funny ha-ha laugh.
Yeah. Definitely one of those situations where if you don't laugh, you cry. Honestly.
Yeah.
Genuinely, I would have loved to see that happen in like a proper esports level, just so people could actually realise how much of a mess.
Well, they
that
might actually do
was.
something about it then.
Exactly.
Having said that, I know the esports guys run on a different version of the game than what we run. So they probably actually have some form of control over yellow safety cars and crap like that. Very manual, I would imagine. I don't know. Maybe it is just a conspiracy.
Yeah, I think we've got candidates though for what should be described as the quote-unquote cock-up of the season. We've got Fliniesta's moment in the Tier 1 race, and we have that moment for the Tier 2 race. So
we've also got a driver retiring in the pits, the AI coming out of the pits, doing a lap, then coming through the pits again, and then coming out and retiring the other side.
Yeah, I think that could be up there as well. Honestly, this whole week has been an absolute mess.
A mess and a
can
half.
We can only apologise, but there's only so much we can do. We're given the tools provided, but it can't be helped if the game is made by a bunch of tools.
Yeah, I am not going to apologise on behalf of Codemasters EA.
Oh, I'm not apologising on behalf of them. I'm apologising to those watching and those actually having to play the game, like me and yourself. Thankfully, we didn't have much incident in our race around France, but going into next week, I'll roll it. I'll get the freaking bingo card out. What is going to happen for next week?
Yeah.
And beyond.
Yeah. I don't think we're going to be joined by anyone.
Yeah, I think they're making a stand this evening. And I don't blame them, to be honest.
To be honest, I agree. And I don't think.
Yeah.
I don't think. Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, it's rather
send off.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's going to have to be how it is this evening. Or rather, I think I might have to put an asterisk over tonight's race result, but it won't matter as it is IFC Pines who does take the victory in France, but there will be a very long debrief and discussion towards what the next action is to be taken for the remainder of the season, because if this is the state of the game and we're in October, if the game's not even been out for like 3 months, if this is it in October, how much worse can it get? Because that's usually the running pattern. Whenever EA put out an update for a game, it just somehow fixes one problem and opens up another 20 issues.
Yeah. It's quite frankly, it's not good enough. And I'll tell you what, we should be sat right here, right now, talking about how exciting a race was, what a grandstand finish we had. And to be fair, we did have some form of finish, but it was more through luck than anything else. But instead, we're sitting here just in a bad mood because, yeah, I know this has gone a bit bloggy at this point, but
yeah,
never mind. Alas, we move on.
Indeed.
I think Cruiser, given the circumstances, I think we do need a driver of the day. I do know there was some there was some strong performances across the board today. There were some incidents, and I know people fought back from those incidents, only to potentially have it taken away from them. But we won't talk about that. Let's talk about the positives.
Absolutely, we do have a few good performances tonight, but I think I'm going to try and maybe go in line with our drivers this evening. I don't think it's worth giving a driver of the day vote out, just because the result of the race towards the end has been completely ruined by 7 drive-through penalties for all of our drivers, and we've seen everyone slam on the brakes to try and prevent it, and it just couldn't be stopped. But if I were to give out a few honourable mentions this evening, obviously Nigel Piddle starting down in 15th place, I believe, and recovering 4 seconds, so he would get a shout out from me, and as well the 2 rookies tonight. We've got More Leader and Legends both getting 5th and 6th in their debut race, so some really strong drives this evening. But unfortunately, I don't think it's worth giving a driver of the day vote, as a bit of a stand almost to Codemasters, and hopefully at the end of this broadcast we get something said to Codemasters, we get something sent away. And I sound like one of those people who just want to cause a ruckus, but
Karen Horner, right here.
Yeah, exactly. We'll go with that. I'm going to pretend. We'll go with that.
FPRL Karen
Horner. Yeah, and we should have that changed for my next race if I remember. But we've got to get something done about it. It's an absolute shit show. But if I were to give one driver of the day vote, I would probably give it to Legends based off of their qualifying position and the result in the race. But it's just an absolute joke, and I can only apologise to those watching, and Yeah, I think on a rather bitter tasting note, that's going to end tonight's broadcast.
Yeah, it is indeed. That does indeed conclude our main league racing for this week. We will hopefully be back with you on the Sunday with F2 this week at China, the newest track in the game. Glad to see it back, and yeah, we'll be racing the F2 cars around there. But in the meantime, I have been your host, David Lolface, joined by the always amazing
Cruiser 1872. Thank you all for watching and putting up with this absolute mess of a race this evening. And I shall see you Sunday for the Formula 2. And from all of us here at FPRL, good night.
Good night, chaps.